Okay. Hey, everybody. Can you guys finally hear me? If you could respond and just shoot me a comment, that would be awesome. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties of my Wi-Fi. Let's try this. Awesome.
I'm gonna go outside.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see. Danielle, can you hear me on Wi-Fi? Danielle, can you hear me on the live? Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's get started. Thank you for your patience. So we are going to continue with our Hot 26 breakdown from Tuesday. We ended the video with the end of the warm-up series at the water break, and we're going to be touching on the balancing series today. It's one of my favorite parts of class because we are finally at a point where we're not so much thinking about all the things that we were thinking about during pranayama breathing of like, oh, my boss told me this today and it upset me. And, I have so much I have to do tonight and I have to make dinner. All that stuff is kind of subsided. And we're now in that meditative zone space that the Hot 26 is really famous for. So water break. I did touch on the last video of why we refrain from taking water before the water break. And I'd also like to touch on how much water that you're supposed to drink when you do hot yoga on a regular basis. You want to drink half of your body weight in ounces plus 20% if you practice hot yoga on a regular basis, being 3 to 5 times a week. And so the key is to hydrate before you get into the room and to hydrate after the room, not so much while you're in class. It's kind of too late to hydrate while you're in class. And it also has the tendency to make you feel nauseous, and it just sits in your stomach. Nothing's happening but slowing you down. So small sips of water to help you to keep your throat from getting dry, but not for hydration purposes. You also want to avoid taking water in the middle of a posture to avoid distracting those around you and yourself. Also want to tell you guys to be paying attention to rituals that you may be creating in your Hot 26. We're human, and part of being human is creating these little habits, right? And I think because the Hot 26 is so structured, it's kind of easy to add in those little rituals in the series. For me, rituals look like taking water at the same time every single class, skipping the same posture every class, touching your hair when you really don't need to touch your hair, adjusting your shirt when you don't need to adjust your shirt, circling your mat. Those are all little rituals that we create, and it kind of varies depending on the season of your life and what's going on. For me lately, I've been noticing that I will go like this and just kind of wipe my eyebrows every 5 seconds in Hot 26. And I don't know why, but it's just paying attention and being mindful, not necessarily feeling like you need to change those rituals or to stop those rituals, but that mindfulness will just help you to for them to dissipate in general. So yeah, wanted to touch on that. And then we'll move on to the balancing series. The balancing series is a series of postures where you're basically standing on one leg and you're improving not only the strength of the standing leg, but also the flexibility of the standing leg. The first posture in the balancing series is standing forehead to knee. There are 4 parts to standing forehead to knee. You never want to move on to the next part unless you've mastered the part before it. So the first part of standing forehead to knee is where you are standing. Let me move this. in your Tadasana, in your mountain pose, with your feet together and your heels and toes touch, okay? We start with the left leg. We ground down through all four corners of the foot and kind of imagine roots growing from underneath your toes. So you're really planting your foot into the earth and distributing the weight evenly along all four corners of your foot. So the big toe mound, little toe mound, and the heel. So kind of those 3 points. And then kind of suction cup, draw the energy from the earth and let it kind of rise all the way up to your hip, straighten your left leg. Bring your right leg up to a 90-degree angle, flex the toes towards your face, pull your belly in as tight as you can, and then round down to interlace all 10 fingers underneath the ball of your foot into that steeple-like grip that we're really familiar with. You know, in half moon, we release the index fingers. In standing forehead to knee, we keep all 10 fingers interlaced underneath the ball of the foot into that basket-like grip where it's down to the webbing. 2 inches below the tips of your toes, right here, okay? That's really where your grip starts. It's not here, it's not here, it's not right here, it's like right here. So the grip is like that, down to the webbing. That's your basket-like, stirrup-like grip, okay? So left leg straight, right leg up, flex the toes, pull your belly in as tight as you can, round all the way down to get that stirrup-like grip underneath the ball of your foot. Anna Heath and I have been talking about, she's noticed little rituals that the Fahrenheit yogis have started to create when we round down. She's like, I don't know where this is coming from, but it's a very dramatic entrance that kind of needs to be nipped in the bud. And she's noticed that some of us are just really being dramatic with it, where we're like overly rounding. She's like, it doesn't need to be like that. It just needs to be a straight pick it up. No extra, no dramatic, story around it. So ground down through your foot, all four corners, suction cup your foot, draw that energy up through your hips. You straighten your standing leg and there's no bend whatsoever in your knee. Right leg up to a 90-degree angle. A 90-degree angle is here. So your hip is in line with your knee is in line with your heel. Create that 90-degree angle. If you want to bring your leg a little bit higher than a 90-degree angle, I will encourage a lot of us to do so, and I'll kind of touch on that later, why. But that is your 90-degree angle. So when you round down to get your stirrup-like grip underneath the ball of the foot, you have to suck your stomach in as tight as you can. Round down, stirrup-like grip, okay? All right? This is the first stage of the posture for most of us. If you have lower back issues, okay, Davis says, where should I get that grip on my foot? Thank you, Davis. So, so I kind of touched on that. It's right there, okay? When you round down and you interlace all 10 fingers underneath the ball of your foot, that's the first stage of the posture for most of us. If you have a lower back issue or you have an injury in your lower back, you will not round. Your first and only stage of this posture will be here. Okay, you're just going to stand here. There is none of this, okay? It's just your arms are by your sides with your leg at a 90-degree angle. And this will be your standing forehead to knee until you are recovered from that lower back injury, or maybe it will always be that. So first part, standing or rounding, okay? This is the first stage of the posture. I encourage you to stay in the first stage of the posture for the entire minute for most of us. This is called a 10-year posture, so it takes time to build the strength in the standing leg to be able to stand on that standing leg with no bent knees at all before you move into the second stage of the posture. The second stage is where you kick out, lead with your heel, and flex the toes towards your face. For most of us, this will be where we stay for the first set, okay? In that 90-degree angle. I think this is a better angle for you guys to see me. Okay. See how straight my standing leg is? No bend at all in my knee. The tendency is for people to be here. It's not going to hurt you for today to do that, but I promise you it will hurt you after about a week, maybe a month of doing that, and it's going to seriously injure your knee. So that is why we drill in as teachers to lock out and straighten your standing leg. Now, I have a lot of teachers that swear by a microbend and that is okay. And and that it's not the best to lock out your knee for some of us, because that could cause hyperextension. Gosh, this posture is so loaded. I could spend like the whole hour on this posture. And I'm trying to come up with a way where I can break this down in the most logical way for everybody, in the proper order. So if you feel like you are hyperextending in this posture, this is what it's going to look like. You see how I'm like putting so much weight in my heel that my knee is kind of pushing back? That's hyperextension. Try to rock the weight forward into the ball of your standing foot to avoid that hyperextension. Okay, so as I rock the weight forward into the ball of my standing foot, you'll notice that I go from hyperextension to not hyperextending anymore. Okay, so try that. If it still feels like that's not right for me, then maybe micro bend the knee. Micro bend, tiny bend is fine. And you're going to stay there for a full minute. The whole time that you are in stage 1, while you're building strength before the kick out, your stomach, you guys, is in tight. Suck it in the whole time. So not only are we whittling the waistline in this posture, but we're protecting the lower back as we're rounding, because we're rounding down for a long time. So we have to keep our core engaged to protect the lower spine as we round. Davis said, I'm saying I can't get the grip. I'm saying I can't reach that grip. I can only get my hands to round my ankle. Oh, yes, Davis. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. Let's go back to the grip. If you are unable to get the full stirrup-like grip underneath the ball of the foot, that's normal, because you haven't increased the flexibility of the standing leg to the point where you can round all the way down to get that stirrup-like grip. That's completely fine. Davis says that he's only able to round down to grab his ankle. That's perfect. And I'm so glad that you do that, because I see so many people that get frustrated by not being able to get the stirrup-like grip that they just stay in this stage the entire time. Okay? If you don't have a lower back issue and you are able to round down, but you can't get the entire stirrup-like grip, then you're going to do exactly what Davis does, where you round down, lightly touch your fingertips to your shin or even your ankle, so that you are not only increasing the strength of the standing leg, but you are also increasing the flexibility of the standing leg of the sciatic nerve. If we just remain upright with our leg at a 90-degree angle the whole time, then we will build the strength, but we won't increase the flexibility. So when you notice, if you round down, that's when you start to feel the stretch in the back of the standing leg. If you just stay up here, there is no stretch. So round down, Davis, until one day you do increase the flexibility to be able to get that stirrup-like grip. You may not get the flexibility just doing hot 26. You may need to incorporate some yin or vinyasa into your practice. I really would encourage you to try to go to yin twice a week. We have that on Sunday nights at 6:30, and we have it on Wednesday nights at 7. Yin is where you're really utilizing these long holds, where you're able to work deeply into the fascia so that you can increase the flexibility. So that might be helpful for you, to help you increase the flexibility to where you get that stirrup-like grip. But I do encourage those of us that don't have a lower back issue to round down to the best of their ability, lightly touch their fingertips to their knee or their ankle. I hope that helps, Davis. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to move on. So we touched on this first part of the standing forehead to knee, where once you round down, you get that stirrup-like grip. Your main focus is to lock out the standing leg. No bend whatsoever in your knee. We did touch on the fact that you can have a micro bend, which is fine, but not a extremely bent knee, because that could cause injury over time. When you are in the first stage of the posture, it's important, like we said, to rock the weight forward into the ball of your foot to avoid hyperextension. Also, root down through your big toe mound to activate the instep of your foot, and that will help you to recruit the muscles of your inner calf and your inner ankle. We tend to rock a lot of the weight into the outer edge of the foot, so you have to root down through your big toe mound, so you're utilizing the strength of the big toe, suction cupping that energy from the ground all the way up. and creating this tight muscular sheet around your kneecap so you can protect your knee while you're in the posture. We talked about this. We talked about pulling your belly in to protect your lower spine. We talked about the stirrup-like grip all the way down to the webbing. Let's talk about this next. So when you are here, I see a lot of this happening. I'm like literally resting my knee on my arm. See how I'm just kind of resting? I could do this all day. So that's the tendency. You want to avoid that. So you're going to kind of bring your knee away from your arm, step into your grip to even square your hips. I know it's hard to see this. I'm trying to angle it to the best of my ability. So you're going to step into your grip to square off your hips. Once you feel like you've built the strength in the standing leg, your standing leg is pretty straight, strong, and engaged. There's no bend in your knee, except maybe a micro bend, and you're able to stand on one leg for a full minute without falling out. That is when you will know that you are ready for the second stage of the posture. The second stage is where you kick out, you lead with your heel and flex the toes towards your face, okay? That's the second stage. We never move on to the second stage until we've mastered the first stage. I've been doing this series for about 11 years. No, maybe 13 years. I've been teaching it for about 11 years, but I've been practicing it for probably 13 years. And I'm still in the second stage. That's my body. And so don't be upset with yourself if you're on like year 2 and you're still in the first stage, or if you're in, like me, on year 12 and you're in the second stage. And then you'll see people that have just started yoga and they're able to rock into the fourth and final stage. It's just the way that our bodies are, and we have to learn to love it and accept where we're at, right? Without the ego and like, oh, this like person next to me just started and they're able to move into the fourth stage. So the second stage, we're here. Okay. We've got the stirrup-like grip. My standing leg is straight. My weight is in the ball of the foot. Belly is in tight. And then you kick out, lead with the heel, flex the toes towards your face. I'm kind of at a 1.5. If you can see, my knee is a little bit bent. My kicked out knee is a little bit bent. It's not absolutely straight. So I'm like a 1.5. 1.5 is here. I really need to be here because if you notice when I kick out with a straight leg, my spine rounds. We don't want to round the spine when we kick out. We want to keep a flat back. So I need to be at a 1.5 where I'm just right here. Okay, I'm kicking out halfway and my back is flat. And that over time, I will be able to get the flexibility to kick out and flatten out my back. Maybe, and maybe not. Okay, so that's the second stage of the posture. You kick out, lead with your heel, flex the toes towards your face with a flat spine. If your spine is not flat, go to a 1.5, bend your knee a little bit and arch your spine. Danielle, random question. Do you know why balancing series is at the beginning of class in Hot 26 versus usually towards the last 2/3 of class in Vinyasa? That is a really, really, really good question. Let me take a moment to think about that. I think that if I'm just saying what pops in my head, because I don't really absolutely know, but if I'm trying to think of what Bikram was thinking as he created this series, I would say that Hot 26 is taught at a much higher temperature than Vinyasa. And we have done certain postures in the warm-up series where we feel prepared to move to balancing. Whereas maybe Vinyasa takes a little bit longer to create that heat. I don't know. That's a good question, Dee. Let me kind of research that, and maybe we can research that together. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. And when we're in kicking out, we lead with the heel, flex the toes towards your face, okay, with a flat back. A lot of times we'll see this in the kick out. People are kicking out, but their toes are like, they're not flexed, okay? Flex the toes towards your face. I'm like leading with my heel. Why? The second you do that, you can even try it sitting down like I'm doing. If my foot is not engaged, I'm just kicking out, I'm not really utilizing my core, but when I kick out, my core starts to be engaged and I feel that tremendous stretch along the back line of my kicked out leg, okay? So flexing the toes is huge, and yes. So the second stage, kick out, lead with the heel, flex the toes towards your face, your back is flat. Once both legs are straight, solid, and engaged from the side, you look like an upside down letter L, and your back is flat. Then you start to bring, look at me, I'm doing 26 in a chair. This is fun. Then you start to bring your heel below the calf muscle. I can't do it, right? So I can't show you guys what it looks like because that's not where I'm at. But when you bring your elbow points below the calf muscle, that's the third and final stage. Elbow points have to go below the calf muscle to enter the fourth and final stage. The fourth and final stage is you tuck the chin to the chest and bring the exactly, Bikram says, the exactly forehead to touch the exactly knee. Okay, so you're essentially doing forehead, Janu Shavasana on one leg. So yeah, first stage, standing leg is locked and straight, rounding over. Second stage, kick out, lead with the heel with a flat back. Third stage, elbow points go down and below the calf muscle. Once the elbow points go down and below the calf muscle, fourth and final stage, forehead to knee. Any questions about that posture? I could go on and on. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to touch on. Oh, drishti. Drishti is very important in that posture. I would encourage most of us to practice in the first row, so you can really see yourself in the balancing series. It's going to change your balancing series. I know that it's intimidating to be in the first row, but it's harder. It makes it harder for you to go in the back and do balancing series. When you can be in the front and really see yourself, your drishti is going to help you tremendously in this posture. Look at yourself in the front mirror, look at your standing leg, and look at your knee. That's going to be your drishti if it doesn't strain your neck. If it strains your neck, your drishti, your focal point, which is what a drishti means, your focused gaze, is going to be about 3 feet out in front of you at a fiber on your towel or a speck on the ground. You're going to burn a hole through that point. That's what's going to keep you balanced in this posture when the back of your leg starts to burn and when you're ready to come out. It's really going to be a make or break situation in this posture is your drishti. I had a woman tell me once, she came up to me after class and she's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that standing forehead to knee got me through my divorce. If you can stand on one leg, solid, straight, engage with your laser beam concentration for a full minute without losing your shit, you can probably take that with you off the mat, right? And that's what Hot 26 is all about. So your drishti is important, finding that laser beam concentration. And a lot of times, if you look directly down in that posture, you're going to go down. Where the eyes go, the body follows. So look slightly forward, about 3 feet out in front of you. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to tell you about that posture. I think that's it. You can always come back if anybody has questions. Let's move on. The next posture is, so this is a deep forward fold. This is how freaking smart Bikram is. All of the controversy aside, this man is freaking genius, okay? So this is a deep forward fold, and he's anticipated, hey, these people have been standing for about 1.5 minutes in this forward fold. Now they need to take their spine the opposite direction and do a back bend. So that's why the next posture is a backward bend, standing bow pulling. In between the first and second set of standing forehead to knee, I encourage people to do that tiny little mini back bend where you bring your hands to your lower back, lift your heart, press your hips, thighs, abdomen forward, drop your head back. That is a good time to notice how your lower back is feeling. If your lower back is feeling a little bit tender or sore after the first set, then it's a clear indication you have to suck your stomach in more while you're in the posture to protect your lower spine. So we have that little mini back bend, and now we're ready for like a full-blown back bend with standing bow pulling. Standing bow pulling, I could also go on forever and ever about this posture. Your right elbow comes to your waist, and your palm is up towards the ceiling as if you're asking someone to give you something. Bikram says, Mama, give me money. Don't drop the money. If you listen to him on iTunes, that's what he always says, okay? Mama, give me money. Don't drop the money. So you have, let's say, a dollar bill, whatever it is in your palm that you don't want to drop. When you reach back, okay, if you twist your wrist, boom, the money's dropped. So that's why it says, Mama, give me money. Don't drop the money. Reach back, reach back, reach back, reach back, palm up. Inside mushy part of the elbow faces out, palm up, palm up, palm up. Bend your knee and grab the inside of your ankle first. Most of us grab the inside of the foot. This grip, I'm going to talk about it for a long time because it's very important. I want to see if I can show you. This is the grip, okay? It's not this. Your thumb is with the rest of your fingers, okay? Together. So reach back, palm up, palm up, palm up. Mama, give me money. Grab the inside of your foot, ankle, or shin. I'm going to show you guys a different angle. Okay? So I'm grabbing the inside of my foot. That's going to be what I would tell people to do first. If you can, go down, grab the inside of your ankle. Okay? It's just this is where I'm grabbing right here. Grab the inside of your ankle. If you're very flexible, you're going to go down and grab the inside of your calf. Christina Osborne, I know you want to kill me right now. Christina is one of our Bikram teachers. She completely disagrees with me here. And that's the beauty. We all have different opinions, but for me, she's told me grab the inside of your foot, and you have to grab the inside of your toes. She's like, I don't know why you keep telling people to grab the inside of your calf. But I've tried to do the inside of the toes. It doesn't feel right to me, Christina. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I love you. So for me, I'm going to teach it this way. Grab the inside of your ankle if you're more flexible, okay? And then you reach your, let me come back. Then you reach your other arm up towards the ceiling, okay? I wish I could get a better angle. Up towards the ceiling. This arm, you guys, is everything. I see a lot of wet noodles like this. No, it's that pointer dog. Remember the cartoon where you're like, boom, that pointer dog? That is how straight, solid, and engaged this arm is. And my fingers are like this, tight, not like this, not wet noodle, like this. No, pointer dog, okay? So if you notice, as I do that, you guys, my chin will naturally touch my shoulder without me moving my head at all. It's not this, it's this. I think someone commented. Yeah, see, Danielle, that's great. Danielle, she says, I've always done the inside of my ankle. It's a deeper back bend for me. And that's beautiful. I love that, that's what I really want to encourage all the students. I know Danielle would agree with me as being a yoga teacher for over a decade, that you do what feels right in your body. I can't tell you what to do as your teacher because I'm not in your body, but just experiment. Take what we say as teachers and like try it and be like, okay, the purpose of this posture is to create a backward bend, like Danielle's saying. When I grab the inside of my shin, like Nora tells me to do, I lose that backward bend. I don't feel it. So I'm going to grab the inside of my ankle. Whereas Christina is like, no, like I feel the most backward bend when I grab the inside of my foot. So that's the beauty. Danielle says it's also more to kick into. Yeah. For me, I'm going to tell you in a little bit why I grab the inside of my shin. So when I'm going back to that reaching forward, this is so important, and this is going to help you from falling backwards in the posture. A lot of people will fall out. So notice if you fall forward or fall back. If you fall back, you need to reach forward more. If you fall forward, you need to kick harder back. Okay, so this is very important. So we're here. We've grabbed the inside of the foot, ankle, for me, the shin. My right arm is up, straight, strong, and engaged. And then I'm going to kick. Okay. Kick back and kick up. Reach forward and stretch forward. Equal intensity, 50-50 simultaneous. If you start to see your toes surface over the crown of the head, which takes time, be patient with yourself, and by time, it can sometimes take years, okay? Then you start to charge the body down. The school of thought that I tend to agree with is breath is the most important aspect of the posture. After that is function, right? Function is, why the hell am I doing this? That's what you ask yourself. And this posture, the reason why we're doing this, for me, is that we're creating a deep backward bend, okay? Then after breath, your breath is under control, it's even and steady, great. Then I can move into the function. Why am I doing this? The backward bend. Kick back, kick up, right? And then once you have the function, it's the alignment. Alignment is, drop your hip, reach forward more so that your shoulder touches your chin. Then once you have all these perfect little alignment cues, you focus on the depth. Charge the body down. Bikram tends to charge the body down right away before you see the toes surface over the crown of the head. So who am I to be like, no, Bikram, I'm not going to do it like that, even though you designed the series. But the way that I teach it is to focus on the kick as much as you can, and then when you start to see the toes surface over the crown of the head, charge the body down and explore depth, okay? But try it out in your body. Maybe you will charge the body down before you have your toes surface over the crown of the head. There's so many different schools of thought. And I know I'm kind of rambling. Hope I'm not confusing everybody. But once you see the toes surface over the crown of the head, charge the body down. The reason why we charge the body down is because we are trying to rush freshly oxygenated blood to the heart to improve the functioning of the cardiovascular system in this posture. And we're also irrigating the blood flow from one side of the body to the other to improve the functioning of the circulatory system. Once you see the toes surface over the crown of the head and you charge the body down, you are increasing the flexibility of the back of the standing leg. So we're improving strength of the standing leg because we're balancing. We're improving flexibility of the standing leg because we're charging the body down and getting that stretch along the back line of the body. We're creating a deep backward bend as we kick back and kick up. And as you kick back and kick up, you also kind of like lift your heart up and back to create this backward bend against gravity. So it's like a bow with your spine. So it's like a bow with your spine and an arrow with your arm. Hence the name of the posture, standing bow. Drishti is another one that's really important in this posture where you're laser beam focused concentration. I tend to like to watch my belly rise and fall in the front mirror with my breath. We use something called 80-20 breathing in this posture. I touched on it in the last video on Tuesday, where you fill your lungs 100% before you enter the posture, and then you allow the top 20% to exit on the exhale and to enter back again on the inhale. So it's small sips of air in this posture in the backward bend. Same thing with the backward bend in, half moon, 80-20 breathing. So drishti for me is where I'm gazing at my belly, watching my 80-20 breathing. So it's just kind of watching my belly rise and fall in the front mirror. And then it's a perfect balance between the kick and the reach. So once you have that perfect marriage between the kick and the reach, you can stay in the posture. I like to say if the kick tries to wear the pants in this posture, it's not going to work. If the reach tries to wear the pants, it's not going to work. It has to be an equal 50-50 partnership, a mutual exchange of energy between the kick and the reach. So if you're one of those people that, you've got that nailed, but then your kick is like, me, right? Then you're probably going to fall forward. Okay? Because you're putting so much energy forward. If you're one of those people where your kick is like bomb and you're like boom, boom, boom in the kick, but then you're like wet noodle in the hand, you're probably going to fall back because all of your energy is going back. But when you have that mutual exchange, that push and pull action, then that's what keeps you balanced in the posture. So we touched on drishti, breath, alignment, and function. Another one of those postures, in every balancing series, you're grounding down through all four corners of your foot. Your standing leg is straight, strong, and engaged. No bend in your knee. And that's it. That's all I have to say about that one. Does anybody have any questions about bow before I move on? I'm trying to think of anything else I want to tell you guys about bow. It's all cardio. If you notice, it's like your heart is like pounding at this point. Boom, 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 boom. Now let's move on to Tula Dandasana, balancing stick. Balancing stick is a 10-second posture. You blink and it's over. So I always tell my students, just do the best that you can. Let it be good enough for you and get right into it. Don't hesitate. Okay. So as you inhale, arms up over the head, palms touch. You have your stirrup-like grip, interlaced grip, but you release your index fingers like you do in half moon. And it's not this, you guys. It's this. Tight. Squeeze your palms tight. No gap, no light in between your palms. Squeeze your arms into your ears. No gap between your arms, your biceps, and your ears. So it's like this. Okay? Chin up, away from the chest. Arms back. Elbows are locked. I don't really have time to break down the setup so much in class and take my time to really explain it to you guys, because you're just like, at this point, you're like, get me in. I can't listen to you right now. So it's a very fast setup. So I'm going to take some time to break down the setup a little bit slower. So it's that interlaced grip, release index fingers, palms are squeezed tight, arms are squeezed tight, arms are back. It's half moon arms, half moon grip, exactly. Arms back, chin up away from the chest. We're not here, we're here. Okay, arms back. That's your setup with the arms. Feet are together. Take a big step forward through your right leg. Point your left toes. Okay, so it's not like, see how I'm not doing this with my foot, I'm this. Point. And then boom, body down, leg up. Okay? In this posture, my school of thought is breath, alignment, function, depth. And it varies from posture to posture. If I was talking about breath, function, alignment, depth, like I did in bow, it would be taught, I'm going to show you the two different ways it can be taught, okay? Let's say we're saying breath, function, alignment, depth, like I taught you in bow, okay? Then it would be breath is under control, function is to charge the body down to get freshly oxygenated blood to the heart. That's the purpose of balancing stick. And then it would be alignment, like making it look pretty and perfect, and then depth. No, that's not right. I'm not making any sense. Danielle, am I making sense? Sorry, it's breath, alignment, depth in this posture, because function and depth is the same thing in Tula Dandasana. Okay, I hope that makes sense and it hasn't confused you. Because Tula Dandasana's function and depth is the same, we're going to say breath, alignment, depth. Okay, so breath is under control, alignment, your arms are straight, strong, and engaged, your chin is up, point your toes, boom. The second you lose alignment, you have no business going into your depth. This is why this is probably my biggest pet peeve in this posture as a teacher. I can't stand seeing this. Okay? No, I would much rather you see you here, not even going down far, but you are super, super within integrity with the alignment, where your arms are straight, your hips are level, and then over time, as you start to build the strength and the endurance, you can start to explore the depth if it doesn't compromise the alignment. Okay, so if you notice that, tell me when my hips start to lift, because in this posture, my hips have to be level, okay? The second that my hips lift, like now, I don't need to be going down that far. I need to come back to this. Does that make sense? Okay, so Danielle said, it's always breath first, alignment second, depth third. But does that make sense, Danielle? What I'm saying is that, like, because depth and function is the same thing in Tula Dandasana, that it's going to be alignment second. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so that's my thoughts about Tula Dandasana. I would much rather you stay rooted within the integrity of the posture, integrity of alignment, before you explore the depth. But eventually we want to explore depth where we're charging the body down. We look like a capital letter T, and we rush freshly oxygenated blood to the heart. It's a 10-second posture. Our arms are tight, our palms are tight, our belly is sucked in, our hips are level, our toes are pointed, standing leg is straight, grounding down through all four corners of the standing foot, and our drishti is slightly forward. Breath is even and steady. And then boom, before you know it, it's done. 10 seconds. And this is one of those postures where your heart is pounding. It can be scary for beginners. A lot of times people want to run out of the room after this posture, but Bikram says you give yourself a mini heart attack in this posture so you don't have a real one in your life. This is another one of those intense postures where in between sets, I encourage students to find their stillness and just be with yourself in the midst of intensity. It can be one of those times in class where you're going to notice a ritual where you want to fidget, or you want to try to fix your hair, or you want to straighten out your mat. That's a reaction to what you're feeling. You don't really need to fix your hair at that point. You don't need to fix your towel at that point. It's just you immediately reacting to what you're feeling. So if you can get past that immediate reaction and find your stillness in between the first and second set and just be with yourself when you feel like you're about to throw up, right? Then you can take it off the mat and you find yourself in a situation where you want to lose your shit. You can pause, right? Take time, be with the reaction, and then act, right? From a place of stillness. So yeah, it's like doing 30 minutes on the elliptical in 10 seconds. That posture is so magical. I love it. Next posture after that is standing separate leg stretching forehead to knee. And it comes right on time in the series because Bikram is like, all right, I've kicked these people's asses at this point. They need a break. This posture is very active, but it gives us an opportunity to lower the heart rate, get the breath under control because the head is below the heart. I don't have much time to touch deeply on standing forehead to knee, standing separate leg stretching forehead to knee, but I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview. And then the next video we can talk about triangle and then the rest of the standing series because I could talk about triangle forever and I don't have time. So let's talk about standing separate leg stretching forehead to knee. As you inhale, reach your arms up over the head, palms touch. As you exhale, take a big step out to the right, huge stance, about 3 to 4 foot step. Arms parallel to the floor, palms down. Pigeon toe your feet slightly in. Unless you have sciatica, in that case, feet are going to be slightly out. Pull your belly in, hinge forward, flat back, all the way down. Lead with your heart as you descend down, okay? Drop the head. I encourage students to take about 15 seconds before you get into that posture to just allow your heart rate to lower, get your breath under control. So we take that 15 second pause to just relax in this posture and hang heavy. And let your head drop, maybe sway from side to side if that feels good. To get into the grip, I'm going to have to put my computer on the ground so you guys can see this grip. The grip is you reach back and step on all 10 fingers behind and underneath both heels. Include your pinky fingers. If that's too much, I encourage you to go up and grab the outsides of your feet closer towards your pinkies. If that's still too much and that's not an opportunity, you can always grab the backs of your calves and pull. If that's too much for you, you can stay supported and pull the crown of the head down. So there's lots of modifications in this posture. But challenge yourself, just get what you can. I want you to try to get the grip. Even if you can only get like maybe 2 fingers like here, eventually over time, you'll increase the flexibility and start to get the full on grip, okay? So in this posture, it's basically the same thing as half moon's hands to feet, but your legs are separated. Remember, you're in that posture, you're stepping on all 10 fingers behind and underneath both heels. So your legs are separated, you're stepping on all 10 fingers behind and underneath your heels, and you're starting to straighten your legs. So inhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling, lift up on your kneecaps, contract your quadriceps, push back on your knees. Exhale, pull the crown of the head down to try to get the forehead to one day touch the towel. Your drishti is right in between the arches of your feet, at this imaginary line of space in between the arches of your feet, right in the center of that line of space, okay? And you bend your elbow points to pull, use the strength of your biceps and triceps to pull the crown of the head down. All the while, you're trying to maintain a flat back. So if you notice that the tendency is to like round your spine in this posture, then you're gonna bend your knees more so you can arch your spine and flatten out your back and pull the crown of the head down. Eventually, once you increase your flexibility and your strength, you'll be able to wrap your forearms behind your calf muscles. Christina Osborne, Anna Heath, Heather Lee, if you ever get a chance to practice with them in class, please watch this posture. It's gorgeous. Their forehead is touching the ground. They have their calves behind their forearms behind their calf muscles. That's like the goal, right? But that's not reality for like me and a lot of us. And I'm one of those, again, that I've been practicing this series for years, and my legs are straight, but my back is flat, but I'm not anywhere close to getting my forehead to touch the ground. And that's okay. I'm still receiving 100% benefits, just as much as Christina and Heather and Nikki and all the teachers with the beautiful practices. I'm still receiving just as much benefits because I'm increasing the flexibility as I begin to straighten out my legs, and I'm increasing the strength as I pull the crown of the head down towards the floor. I think that's all I have time for today. I'm really sorry that I got a late start, you guys. I miss you so much. I miss being in the studio and sweating with everybody and hugging everybody. The social distancing is definitely a challenge for me, but I know that there's a lesson in all of it for all of us. So I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Try to get outside in your neighborhood and just maybe walk around or go for a run, try something different, or even do yoga outside today. Danielle's going to be teaching yin tonight, and I'm really excited for you guys to take from her. She's teaching yin and yoga nidra. Danielle is my best friend, and she lives in New York, and she handles all of our branding. And I miss you, Dee. Gosh, I'm like so ready for you to be here. She handles all of our branding, and just she's basically Dina and my like partner in New York. She's incredible, and we love her so much. And please take her class because she's a genius yoga teacher, and definitely something that we all need right now is yoga nidra and yin. I love you guys. Hey, Katie, I love you, babe. And hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See you soon. Mwah.